It's been all about public transport and rail and other services in the northwest of Victoria. In the last few days, we're catching up with the Nationals candidate for Mildura, Jade Benham. How are you, Jade?
Very well, Ricky. How are you?
Good, thanks. You're on the road at the moment, but could we maybe one day see a train return to Mildura, or is no one seriously talking about that?
I think rail freight is on the up and up. Obviously, that is one of our key priorities, to take some trucks off the road. As far as passenger rail, the investment needed and the viability of it from a commercial sense, it would need a lot more work. I am actually working on another city connection plan as far as transport goes. So watch this space, and we may hopefully have an announcement in the next few weeks.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for that. But the independent member for Mildura, Ali Kappa, has flagged that she wants to see whoever wants to form government provide a new shuttle service to Maryborough instead of a rail service for the time being. Is that something you support, or what's your response to that?
Look, that's certainly a lot more viable than passenger rail returning to Mildura. I just think the investment that would be needed would far outweigh the benefits, and it just doesn't stack up. So a shuttle to Maryborough might work. We've also got to remember the towns such as Ouyen that don't have connecting services to other public transport means to get to Bendigo and Melbourne as well. And I've been doing some work with some community members there that have got some great ideas, and that's what I love when people... We know that there are some issues, but when people have really solid solutions that could work, for example, just slightly tweaking some timetables from South Australian transport that connect with Swan Hill, for example, things like that could also work. So there are many, many options on the table at the moment to be explored.
Yeah, quite right. The electorate may be called Mildura, but there's more to the electorate than just Mildura, such as Ouyen and other communities. Jade, when it comes to the announcements made by the opposition on the weekend, just to run through what those were regarding public transport.
Yeah, so it's capped fares, $2 fares on the public bus networks or public transport networks. That doesn't include VLine. So that's the Mildura bus networks and the interregional public transport networks, as long as, and this is the difficulty when we're living on a cross-border community, as long as the departure and arrival is within Victoria, that cap applies, and it's $1 for concession as well. Then we have, obviously, the half-price VLine fares. Now, this, again, applies right across Victoria. Great for those in the city that are commuting and using VLine services daily, but it is great for us as well that have VLine bus services that do connect to those other train services at Maryborough and Swan Hill, but also half-price bus fares. But like I said, we are doing some more work on some more bespoke solutions for those up here in the great northwest of the state.
Yeah, I like that term, bespoke solutions. So I imagine that's your response to Transport Minister Jacinta Allen's crack at the opposition on Monday, saying you'd forgotten about rural and regional people by not including VLine in the $2 announcement. You came out with something that day saying that you were going to have the half-price fares.
Exactly, and and that is my job, to make sure that there are bespoke solutions across the board for regional Victorians, especially us up here in the Great Northwest that are not as easily connected to the city as those that are only, an hour or two away. So that is my job, and there is work going on. It's just a case of when we can get these announcements out, because there's so much work that goes into these announcements as well. We have to make sure that we can actually deliver this before we can announce it.
Well, and that's the challenge also in terms of actual delivery, is that the opposition would actually have to win government and have the majority of seats in the lower house to deliver these pledges. Is it something you campaign for regardless of whether your party forms government or not?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And again, that's why I've put my hand up to be a candidate and to enter state parliament, because I am really passionate about this region having a loud voice. And I've been called a loud voice on more than one occasion. So it's absolutely all of these things that we are announcing, even if we don't form government, and hopefully we do on the 26th of November, but all of these announcements that we're making, I'll absolutely be advocating for regardless of who forms government.
Well, Jade Benham, the Nationals candidate for Mildura, thank you very much for joining us today on this transport issue.
Thanks, Ricky.